Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. At Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusanes.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com. This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to this episode of A Visit to the Mound. I'm Lark Smith, and he is
Stan Huff.
Our special guest today was drafted in the 4th round by the New York Mets in 1974 and made his major league debut on his 21st birthday back in 1977. Made 2 more appearances that season, but spent the entire 78 season in the minor leagues. Overall, he spent about 10 years in baseball, playing for the Mets, Yankees, Twins, Orioles, Tigers, and even spent some time in the Japanese Central League. Stan, say hello to your buddy, John Pasella.
There's my pitcher right there.
Your pitcher.
He was my pitcher. Hello, John.
Hey, what's happening, guys?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful here. Sorry to say that hurricane. Well, the hurricane missed you, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, we got a little bit here, but not bad. I'm on the East Coast, so we caught about 30-mile-an-hour winds and some rain for quite most of the day. But after it's all said and done, we're okay. Hopefully, the people on the West Coast and everything worked out for them. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, really. It's true. You bet.
John, you spent some time back and forth between the minors and the big leagues over the years. Give us some idea of what that grind is like.
Yeah, it was for guys like me, if you look up in the dictionary, you probably see my picture next to journeyman, and so it's for the book on guys like myself, it's probably a lot thicker than guys that played a long time. But getting I played 15 years. Fortunately, I only had 1.5 injuries. It was a little later on in my career. Going up and down. I was traded 4 times. I was up and down in the big leagues. I think up and down 7 times in my career. Wow. So I spent 5 big league time with 5 different organizations. So I don't know. I never figured out whether they really liked me or why people were trading for me. So
What are they trading for? You're trading to get rid of you.
That's what I never asked that question. It still haunts me to this day. I'm wondering what the deal was. So anyway, after it's all said and done, you got a long time. After I got back from Japan, a long time to think about it. I ran a baseball school, did a lot of lessons with the kids, enjoyed it. So I've been really involved my whole life. And would I do it again? Yeah. So you always look back, a couple of things you think you could have done different. But you know what? It is what it is. You put your time in. Thank God I was able to put that much time in, a little vacation.
Same here. Life. You bet. Same here.
You mentioned Japan. You spent some time playing in Japan. What's the difference there, other than just the difference in language?
Yeah, they are very intense over there. I got to tell you, I was very fortunate because, it was the end of my career. I was with the Tigers at the time. In fact, Sparky just sent me down and he said, you know what, we're probably going to bring a few more guys up anyway. So I said, all right. He said, I think there's a deal working for you. Anyway, short story longer, signed a 2-year deal with them. The baseball gods kind of at the end of my maybe whatever you want to career said, you know what, we're going to throw you a bone right now. You're going to and you're going to make a little money. So I said, okay. So they came over, boom, boom, boom. So, I signed a 2-year guaranteed contract. And there were numbers that I obviously didn't make in my career. It was a big money career. But just in answer to your question, over there was very tough. It was a grind. I mean, they go bell to bell. early in the morning. They don't get done till late at night, even after the big league games. It is, it's a lot tough for guys like me. Contract that they gave me, I told them, I'll swim back over. For guys that.
And you were ready to, I'm sure.
I was ready. They said, we need you over there in a month. I says, well, I can be there in about 3 days. How long does it take to swim there? They said, no, we'll fly you. But that's you can envision, and people can envision, especially baseball people that know what it's like for when you put in a lot of hard time, let's say, and then you get a little. And I went over there, and here's the kicker of the whole thing of the Japan thing. I go over there, and I signed a 2-year deal. Got some pretty good money, got a bonus, the whole 9 yards. Flew everybody over, or family, about a beautiful place. I didn't throw one pitch.
Well, that's the best contract you ever got.
Yeah.
That's like Jesse James.
Yeah,
guys. I couldn't even tell them. What happened was that their top reliever, the guy who was on the Tokyo Giants at the time, was Luis Sanchez, who was phenomenal here in the States. God bless for I knew Louis. He said his elbow hurt. That's the only reason they signed me, because they thought that he was going to go down. They got me real quick because I was just coming back from the big leagues, and were able to work out a deal with the Tigers and bought me from them. When I got there, they just said, "Look, just hang out, stay in shape, throw. We're going to pitch a little exhibition. We'll see how Louis is doing." I think he had 40 saves or something like that. So I saw Louis.
Did pretty good.
So I saw Luke. I knew him, so I saw him about 2 weeks after I got there. I says, "How's your elbow feel?" He goes, "It feels good." I says, "Oh." He goes, "You can thank me later. You owe me a beer." And he walked.
Oh boy!
I says, "Oh, all right." And after the season was over, I said, "What do you guys want me to do?" I got a 2-year deal. They said, "Look, you were a relief pitcher. We're going to sign Bill Gullickson because we need a starter. So how do you want the rest of your money?" That's how the conversation went. I said, "All right, well, send it to my bank, I guess." So that was the end of it. So I flew home, and that was it. So, that's the crazy story of Japan, which was really, I do exhibition games, and they're about, to be honest with you, are probably between AAA and the big leagues. Very disciplined players. The hitters are a little tough to throw to. They take a lot of batting practice. You really got to have good control to pitch to these guys. They're very disciplined. Not a lot of power, but pretty good hitters, So I was really surprised at how good the talent was, to be honest with you.
How'd you get along with the culture over there? You didn't know the language. Did you have an interpreter?
Yeah. So Stan, I guess, the stories I can't even tell you. So
Well, try. Just clean them up.
Yeah, right. I had an interpreter, a guy named Ichiro. He was from the States. So I had an interpreter. Not only that, I had my own car, too, with a chauffeur. So this Tokyo. Hey, when I was walking through the airport, Narita Airport in Japan, I flew 17 hours. I hadn't slept. I didn't really know what to expect. So when I got off the plane, serious story. I wish somebody was there to see this because I'm really never had anything like this in the States. The guy that's with me, I'm flying with this little entourage. I said, who do these people think they signed here? Because I don't know.
The next Babe Ruth.
I'm telling you, Stan, if you saw this when I got off the plane, because I was by myself, it took me half an hour to get from the plane when I got in the airport to my luggage. There were 30 to 40 reporters, TV stations. I couldn't even walk through the airport. People were stopping, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at Mike. He goes, "Yeah, just keep, doing interviews." I says, "You guys know, who you signed, right? I am not Jack Morris. I don't know what you expect here. I'm 32 years old. I got 1,500 hard innings under my belt, and I got about 4 quarts of cortisone in my shoulder right now. So I don't tell you that." So I get through the whole customs and everything. There's 4 limousines. I'm not kidding you, Stan. 4 limousines parked right out front of the airport with Tokyo Giants signs on them, ready to take me to the hotel. And I'm like,
wow.
I said, "This is I don't know what's going on here, but I'm getting a little nervous right now."
It's like you're in Twilight Zone. That's pretty good.
I said, "Oh, boy." I don't know what they expect. And then they were telling me that the Tokyo Giants, they needed to win the pennant this year because Sadahara O, who is the leading home run hitter, better than Babe Ruth in Japan, is the manager, and his reputation's on the line. So I'm saying, I'm in the car in Tokyo. There's 40 billion people here. Do they think I'm coming over here to save the Tokyo Giants?
Well, you had them fooled.
I said, man, this can only happen to me. Thank God I have my split finger.
You got that split finger going. That's right.
Oh, thank God I had that because, that without that, I was really in trouble. But, yeah, the story's even longer than that. It's a funny story, throwing on the side with them. They had 4 guys watching me throw. They had nets up with strings, and they kind of call the pitches for me to hit. And then the guys back there, every time I throw a pitch, they're going, yeah. I go, after about 10 pitches, I keep hearing the whole group going, hang on. And I said to myself, finally, what is going on here? What are they saying? They're saying that's a home run. I said, what? A home run? Yeah. The home run cycle, or the home run area. I said, okay, wait a second. First of all, get those lines and nets out of here, because if I could hit those things, I wouldn't be over here. So get that out. So I said, tell those guys to clear out. I'm not throwing with those guys back there screaming home run on every pitch.
Wow. That's
So
pretty good.
So where along the way did you cross paths with Stan Huff?
Yeah, well, Stanley,
first year.
We grabbed, Dan, we grabbed, and we were in Marion together.
Yeah.
Right, Stan?
What a place.
We went to Marion, yeah. And then, Warsaw, Lynchburg, right through the ranks. Double A. I hooked up.
Then you got traded. Then I got traded.
Yeah.
Then we parted ways.
Right. Yeah. It all, after we all got traded. But, those early years, in minor leagues, that's where most of the stories all really take place. The crazy stories.
Marion had a insane asylum on the hill of right field.
Yeah.
They used to let those guys out. They were bowling at the moon and just something else.
Yeah.
Where are we?
It was. You can't even, three of us, me, Eddie, and then Keith coming from Brooklyn, and for the first time, not knowing where we're going, and then getting to Marion, Virginia. I mean, the first time we ever were out of our, even out of the state like that. And then seeing what we saw, like you, I mean, it was crazy. I said, this is nuts. I thought I was going to be in a luxury hotel when I signed.
The banker, Mr. Barnett, he was the PA guy, and he'd say, "Welcome to Marion, Virginia, where the stars of tomorrow shine tonight."
Yeah.
And Nolan Ryan had pitched there 10 years before.
Well, then he was telling the truth in that particular situation.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, 500 people in the stands, and I'll tell you what. I was coming out of high school, and you come out of high school and you think you're a big star, and nobody hits you, and it was all good and dandy, and I'm going to blow these guys away. I don't think for my first 4 starts I even got a ball to the catcher. Guys, I was 1-7 with about an 8 earney, and I went home every night to the trail, and I says, "Oh boy, I don't know. I need something else. I don't know what it is."
I tell you what, you go from high school and even college, playing against a few good ball players. When you get in that situation we were in, every one of them was good. So it was a tough row.
I had a long, it was a long thing. Chuck Hiller was the manager, and it was great because he used to call me high school. Yeah, he called me High School Harry. He called me in one day.
Among other things, he called everybody stuff.
Yeah. He called me in one day. He says, "You want to go home?" I says, "Why?" He goes, "Well, you've probably been calling your little girlfriend every night crying that you're getting your, what's ripped."
That sounds like Chuck.
Yeah, he's sitting at the desk, just like out of a movie. He's got, he's got his feet up on the desk. He's got a button in his mouth. I said, "How do you know what I'm doing?" He goes, "I know what you guys are all doing." He goes, "So, you got 2 choices. You can either learn how to pitch, or you can just keep getting ripped, and then that'll be the end of you. So you make the call." So He said, stop feeling sorry for yourself too. Just I'll keep on and keep sending you out there. I don't care how bad you get hit. You're going out there, so you better get your act together. And from that day on, I was pretty fortunate, that I was able to turn it around and ran into some pretty good pitching coaches in the minor leagues that helped me out with a few other pitchers.
Yeah, you bet. Billy, Billy Connors was good.
Yeah, Billy
was great.
Mambo was good.
Bill Mambuquette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that. What coaches along the way had a major impact on your career, either positive or maybe even negative?
Yeah, most of the guys in the minor leagues that because I spent so much time going up and down, were really good. I had no coaches that I could remember that I would say Jack Yeager was a big influence on me. Jack really he taught you how to be tough. He sent you out there. He was and he was a pitcher. So
he was a
when
good
you had
manager too. Wow.
Yeah, when you had just that with pitchers too that understood stuff, that was really helpful. Mambo was great. Phil Mambuquette, tough guy, taught us how to get tough. On the mound, picked up little things. Billy Connors was a confidence kind of guy. Sammy Ellis, who passed away when I had him in AAA, man, he was phenomenal. And then I had Kenny Rowe, and I was with Baltimore, and I got traded over there. When I signed over there, this guy Kenny Rowe may have been one of the best pitching coaches that didn't ever make to the big leagues. He really showed me how to throw a splitter and saved my career. I just got released I was in the big leagues 2 years in a row. My arm was bad. I hurt my side. I got released, signed with Baltimore, and this guy just helped me out. And within 6 months, I was back in the big leagues. So,
yeah, Kenny Rowe was good.
Kenny was good. He knew how to cook.
I remember one night we were playing the Johnson City Yankees in Marion, and we had a 9-0 lead going into the top of the ninth, and we got beat like 11-9. And this was the first time I ever heard a coach from it was all amateur ball before that, but any coach swear like Chuck did. He said, "You MF and prima donnas." He said, "You want to go to the big leagues after that exhibition? The best place you could go was home." And he had us out the next day. He said, "Don't bring any bats or balls or gloves." He said, "But put your running shoes on." Mm-hmm. We ran for 3 hours. From 9 to 12, and then we had to play those guys. We beat them pretty bad the next night.
Yeah. That was nobody wanted to run again, and it's amazing. You know what? I'm thinking what you guys are talking to, which is you think over the years, and I always said this: the best, and they should have paid them the most, because this is where you're forming everybody. You sign these guys, you give us a lot of money, or whatever the case may be. You put us in A ball or high A. That's where you need to have your best guys, because that's where you're going to either make it or break it. You're moving through that. You don't put guys there that don't care. I mean, I've had some pitching coaches that were, I'm not going to mention their names, that were like, "Come on. What is this? This guy knows nothing. Why did they got this guy here who wasn't even successful himself?" Not that you had to be that successful, but, when you're a pitcher, you should have got somebody out, before you start teaching other guys how to pitch.
Oh, yeah. So, well, a lot of them just didn't care. They were just there to get a paycheck.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's especially coming out of high school. That's where you first really learn the game of baseball, learn how to actually pitch as opposed to just throw.
Exactly. You're exactly right. And that was the case, is that, you need somebody with experience, pay a guy a lot of money to be there that knows what he's talking about. Because if you hit some guys, you're going to save a lot of guys that you may release, that you signed, that may, need a little maturity, just need a little guidance and a little push through. They throw you into this fishnet and then they expect you to do stuff. But, I was fortunate because I picked up a good pitch. I had some good, like Stan, I had some great catchers in the minor leagues that, helped me, that it really pays a big dividend. But I was fortunate just to push my way through. And that was, that was my story, but a lot of guys that Stan saw with a lot of talent, it just went by the wayside,
Yeah.
And it's just, tough to look back.
Well, that one year in Lynchburg, I caught 100 games, and I caught you a whole lot that year. I looked at that. We got in the playoffs, didn't we? I mean, after that nice little fight we had in Winston-Salem.
No, it's.
Anyway,
that was
we did good, but did better than I
Yeah,
thought we were.
John, I envisioned Stan being a Crash Davis type catcher.
you couldn't draw up his character any more than you just drew Stan up. Not to a T. I swear to God, when they did the dome, they knew about Stan. I'm not kidding you.
Oh, brother!
Because those stories, some of those stories are very close, you know, and Stan was exactly that guy, and you couldn't get him out of the lineup. I mean, he was. I'm telling you, you know, he caught my no hitter. I mean, the one we threw in Double-A.
Yeah,
I mean, he was, you know, he was fierce about how good and what he was doing, and he was very intense of not going through the motions that a lot of minor leaguers do, not knowing what it is. Stan was always that tough. He had a lot of talent too. He was very talented.
That night on that no hitter, that was against the Rangers, Tulsa,
right.
and
right.
Billy Sample, who was hitting really good, was swinging a bat pretty good. I remember going out to the mound, and I said, "Don't you mess this up for me right now. You better not screw this up." Well, the next pitch was a line drive right to the shortstop, and he like to knocked him out of his shoes, but he caught it.
There you go.
That was right. It was when I forgot about that, but
that was the hardest ball hit all night. That was it. The very last one.
A bullet. Yeah, it was pretty fortunate that it was Adam Ball, you know, because Billy could hit. So. That was a big night for us. But we do have the one. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you guys one story about the Lynchburg that Stan may not remember this, but he's been on this. And there was a relief pitcher on our team. We won't say his name. You remember him? He was a strong guy, converted outfielder pitcher. His brother caught in the big league, so you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Do you remember the day, Stan, that he got released in Salem? And we didn't know it at the time, but I was the only one that really could control him. I was good friends with him and you. And he got released. We didn't know it. This with Jack. He went and bought a couple of cases of beer. He drank a couple of cases. We didn't know this was going on at the time because it was kind of morning. He dragged the couch from the hotel room into the elevator with fire extinguishers.
I didn't know
Do you
that.
remember the story?
No, I
Do you
don't.
remember the story? Okay, he was going up, and the cops were in the lobby. Jack called me. You showed up down there. I don't know, it was 50 years ago, but I don't know if you remember this. And Lozano, Jack says, "You got to help me." Harper's in the elevator, on a couch, drunk, with fire extinguishers, and he's going up and down the floors, opening the door and squirting people. I said, "You see, now can you make that up?"
No.
I said, "What?" He says, "Yes, we got to go floor to floor." The cops were going with me. The two cops, I never forget these two counties. The door opened once. Harper's squirting people, and he's hitting the button to close the door, and he's laughing his brains off. He's going out of the car.
Well,
finally, we got him.
That's what beer will do to you.
Yeah. Finally, we caught him. We got him out of the elevator. And he said, "Well, if they release me, I'm going out in style." He was.
He did.
He was a great. He did. He was the greatest guy in the world, though. You know,
he was good. Definitely.
I saw some things to them that. In fact, let me tell you something. We talk about the minor leagues and the stories. So in 1982, we go to. I was with the Twins. I'm with Ronnie Davis. So we go to. We're in California, and we go to the studios, and how he knows the guy that does MASH and all that. This guy, Thad Mumford, I think. So Ron knows this guy. He's a producer, writer. So he takes us with him. We go over there, meet this guy, walks around the studio and everything. I'm pretty impressed with this guy. So we start talking stories like this, and the guy said, "Hey, come to lunch." So we go to lunch, and we tell a few stories like this. I told him that, a few other stories. He says, "What do you think about a series? Would this be a good series?" I said, "Well, I don't know." I says, so anyway, short story longer. He did this series called Bay City Blues. It was based on a minor league team. Yeah. And the stories, and I told Thad, I said, "Look, if you do this, you got to get a hold of guys that went through the trenches in the minor leagues with the stories. Don't try and do this." And he said, "Would you be open?" I said, "Yeah, I got to know a lot of guys that would." have some great stories, but get a hold of us. Well, he never did, and he tried to do the series and only lasted 1 year.
Yeah.
And it was called Baseball Blues.
I remember that.
Remember that? Yeah, that's how that started. That's
Wow.
how that whole thing started. Yeah, from those stories. And he heard a couple of these stories. I'm telling you now that that's true. You know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's 1,000 of those out there.
There's more than that. I guarantee you.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Well, John, we're about out of time here, buddy. But I enjoyed the visit.
Yeah. No. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys having me on, man. It was good times. It's good to rehash some old times too. You know, time goes fast, and we had some good times. And you know, it's just we've been baseballers our whole life, so
that's true.
It's nice.
All right, that's our time for this episode of A Visit to the Mound. Many thanks to our special guest, John Pasilla. If you have any questions or comments, anything you would like for us to cover, we would love to hear from you. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at A Visit to the Mound or on our website at avisittothemound.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, and review this podcast, and be listening the next time we make a visit to the mound. That'll wrap up this visit to the mound. We certainly appreciate you joining us today for a little baseball talk. Anytime you want to hear something about baseball, you can find us anywhere you get your podcast, or you can go to roguemedianetwork.com for the next edition of A Visit to the Mound.
We are Rogue Media Sports.